Peace, 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 people. Today, we're going to do something extremely rare. I am attempting to call, later on in this live, a U.S. Gov agent to ask about the notion of this going abroad, getting citizenship. It's been bothering me for a long time, and so I have a number finally. I'm going to call and see if they will answer live for me to ask the question in regards to the way in which Black Americans are being told to go to Sierra Leone and look for these citizenships. Is it not renouncing your citizenship or not? Now, anyone that's been paying attention to my channel, my first channel before it got snatched, I talked about Rohingyas. They're an Indian group originally from Myanmar. They have been living in Myanmar for hundreds of years. One day they woke up and they were stripped of their citizenship and made stateless, without rights, unable to work. They were chased out of Myanmar. Their villages were burnt down. People were killed, murdered, and some were even raped, so forth and so on. They were done really foul. And to this day, they had to go to Bangladesh, places where they had not been received. And some of these splintered Rohingya groups are now trying to make their way to Indonesia. And so this notion of races sticking together when they're being barred and banded from coming into Indonesia as I speak to you. I'm about to play a clip, if I can find the right video, to showcase the hate of the Rohingyas towards, the Rohingyas by the Indonesia people. They don't want them there. They're protesting, they're threatening, they're calling them parasites, so forth and so on, to disallow them from entering into Indonesia. So when you hear Pan-Africans talking about all races of people work together to help out their own race and all this type of malarkey talk, it's just not true. So let me play this first video before I make my call to see if they even answer. And if they don't answer, y'all, what I'm going to do is I'm waiting for a new phone to be delivered to me. I will tape my conversations that I will have. It depends on how long they have me on hold, whether I will be able to do this live or not. Let's see.
They arrived in Indonesia weak and tired after a long, dangerous journey from Bangladesh. These Rohingya refugees had already come ashore in Aceh province. But the message from locals was clear. You are not welcome here. They were given food and water before being forced out to sea again. Around 100 people took part in a demonstration in the city of Sabang, voicing their frustrations with the new arrivals.
It's one boat after another. How many boats have come here already? We are poor people. Why don't you use the money to help us? Why are they giving them food?
We reject the Rohingyas. We want them to be moved as soon as possible. We don't want to catch the diseases they carry.
A few meters away, these refugees are waiting in a shelter, their lives in limbo.
We just want to find somewhere safe. We knew that we might die at sea, but finally we are safe. That's all we want for our children.
For years, Rohingya have fled persecution in Myanmar for Bangladesh. More recently, many have fled again, traveling by boat to Southeast Asia. And for the most part, they have been welcomed by communities in northern Indonesia. 3 years ago, Al Jazeera reported on how these locals helped refugees ashore in defiance of authorities. But in recent weeks, some communities have been unwilling to accept them. Please don't send us back to sea, these Rohingya plead, before being forced to return to their boat. Indonesia's government says it's looking for a new site to temporarily house the refugees. It's acknowledged the opposition from residents and says it's looking for a sustainable solution. The UN refugee.
Okay, so again, this is the Rohingyas. This is their plight. These are people that never, ever would try to give away or get away from their citizenship at the time in Myanmar. Let me play in 90 seconds what happened to them. For those that did not hear of the Rohingya plight, they're an Indian group. Again, they lived in Myanmar for hundreds of years. They did not have the right to make the decision whether or not to chance their citizenship by trying to get another citizenship. They just woke up one day and their citizenship was totally taken from them, snatched away from them. Again, it's not a fun place ever to be made into a refugee, unbeknownst to your will or okaying it. But this is what happened to this particular group. They were made into refugees against their will in Myanmar. I had hoped that this would talk it out. Let me find another video that's going to explain it a little bit better. But what I fear is that all these drive-by citizenships is going to end up resulting in a consequence that we are not foreseeing, because we're taking the belief in Pan-Africanism too much to the point where we believe in one man to lead you to a promised land, and you don't even know what you're doing. I'm trying to find how it all happened. Okay, let me go to this. And then, like I said, I intend, before this live is over, to make a call to a governmental agency that's going to answer the question whether or not we are able to do these drive-by citizenships in Sierra Leone or any other place that people are trying to tell us we should be wanting to get. Because there are laws that are made sometimes behind your back, and you can go and do stuff abroad, assuming that it's legal to do. It's legal to do, but it also renounces your citizenship as well. And so I want to go through what a government agency might tell us to further the understanding of whether or not you want to keep getting these citizenships.
They call the world's most persecuted people. The Rohingya are predominantly Muslim ethnic minority who mostly live in Rakhine State in majority Buddhist Myanmar. The UN says their persecution in 2017 was a textbook example of ethnic cleansing, and the UNHCR says that the Myanmar government has been killing men, torturing children, raping women, and burning entire villages to the ground, forcing them to flee to Bangladesh. But where did the Rohingya come from, and why are they being persecuted? Myanmar says the Rohingya are illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. The Rohingya say they have lived in Myanmar for centuries. The Rohingya faced persecution for decades, especially after a 1982 war which stripped them of citizenship. But the story of the Rohingya goes back much further than that. Some historians trace the origins of the Rohingya back to the 8th century. They lived in an independent kingdom in Arakan, what is now known as Rakhine State. Arabs traded in the region between the 9th and 14th century. They brought Islam to the region, and some of them settled and intermarried. But in 1784, the independent kingdom was conquered by a Burman king named Bodapaya. Hundreds of thousands of refugees fled the Burmese army into Bengal. Hiram Cox, a British diplomat, was sent on behalf of the Crown and the East India Company to deal with the issue. Cox's Bazar, the town where many of the Rohingya fled, is named after him. His mission was to maximize tax collection by settling the refugees and others on areas of fertile land and to create markets for trading. In 1824, after a series of wars, the British began colonizing Burma. They decided to run it as a province of British India. The British encouraged migrant labor from what is now Bangladesh and India into Arakan, so that they had more labor available for rice cultivation and infrastructure. The British thought the migration was internal, but many Burmese didn't. Then came the Second World War. In 1942, Japan invaded Burma. At first, Burmese nationalists supported Japan. The Rohingya supported
And
Britain.
keep in mind, the attitudes of the people surrounding the Rohingyas did not believe in what British was allowing the Rohingyas to do. So they have a separate emotion behind the Rohingyas, which is a lot of hate. And so if we get up in number to go to Africa, and we are a bigger mass of people in various countries of Africa, the peoples of the ground of Africa will have a different disposition than what the government states or what Pan-Africans state. They have a different whole outlook on what it is about this influx of so-called people coming to their country, and they will have a whole nother demeanor. This is why we need to know what we can and cannot do so that we don't injure ourselves. Because again, Black Americans are not protected. We're not told different laws that are prohibiting us from doing certain things. And we're given this impression by Pan-Africans that we can do whatever we want. We can get as many citizens as we want. We don't have to think about America no more. Yes, you do. If you want to renounce your citizenship and lose all benefits related to your title as an American, you might want to pay attention to how you go about doing what others are trying to create this lane for you to feel comfortable in doing. I don't know who NA is, and you retracted your message before I could read it. If you could rewrite it, then I could read it.
Because Britain had promised to give Arakan autonomy by declaring a Muslim national area. As the British retreated and the Japanese advanced, the Rohingya were targeted and displaced by Burmese who believed that the Rohingya had unfairly benefited from British rule. By 1945, the British finally drove away the Japanese with the help of both Burmese nationalists and Rohingya fighters. After the war, many Rohingya felt betrayed that Britain didn't come through on its promise of a separate state. In 1948, Burma won independence. At the time, many of the Rohingya wanted Arakan to join East Pakistan, which eventually became Bangladesh. The new government vetoed this and said that the Rohingya were actually illegal migrants. Tensions grew between the government and the Rohingya. The government imposed restrictions on movement of the Rohingya and even refused the Rohingya to be resettled in villages that they were driven out from during the war. Most displaced Rohingya who had fled in 1942 to what was now India and East Pakistan weren't allowed to return to Arakan and had their land and property confiscated. The Rohingya were ostracized. Rohingya Muslims were removed from government posts and replaced with Rakhine Buddhists. Unhappy with being marginalized, in the 1950s, some Rohingya took up arms. The government quickly crushed these groups and the rebellion died down. But in 1962, there was a coup. Burma became a military dictatorship under General Ne Win's Burma Socialist Program Party. They took an even harder line on the Rohingya by dissolving all of their social and political organizations. And in 1977, things got much worse with the Rohingya. Operation Nagamin or Operation Dragon King began. It was intended to root out foreigners. The army began persecuting the Rohingya through widespread killing and rape. 200,000 Rohingya fled to Bangladesh. The military junta said that the Rohingya fleeing to Bangladesh was just more proof that they were illegal. Bangladesh couldn't handle the influx of refugees, so they struck a deal with the UN and Burma so that most of the Rohingya refugees would be returned. In 1982, a new Citizenship Act was declared in Burma. Citizenship was automatically given to people based on them being a part of the national race. Anyone who had come to Burma after British rule was considered illegal. The act applied to all of the Rohingya, despite their long history in Arakan. If they wanted to apply for citizenship, the Rohingya would need to prove they had lived in Arakan since 1824. Due to poor documentation, most Rohingya weren't able to do this. Almost all the Rohingya were effectively made stateless. Their persecution continued. In 1991, 250,000 Rohingya fled to Bangladesh because of abuse by the military. In the late 90s, 230,000 Rohingya were returned back to Burma through a repatriation agreement. In 2011, Myanmar's military junta was dissolved. But even though a democratically elected government was installed, things didn't get any better for the Rohingya. In 2012 and 2016, tens of thousands of Rohingya had to flee a brutal crackdown. And then in 2017, all hell broke loose. More than 742,000 Rohingya have fled to Bangladesh since 2017. Repatriation agreements to get refugees back to Myanmar have failed. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute, which has been analysing satellite images, estimates that at least 40% of Rohingya villages damaged by the 2017 violence have since been completely demolished. A BBC investigation found that some Rohingya villages have been destroyed to make way for government facilities. But more than 500,000 Rohingya are still believed to be living in northern Rakhine, and the UN says there's a serious risk that genocidal acts may occur or recur. In January 2020, the UN International Criminal Court of Justice ordered Myanmar to protect the Rohingya. But the army says it's fighting Rohingya militants and denies targeting civilians. The country's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, has reportedly denied any acts of genocide and has downplayed the atrocities as intercommunal violence. What does the future hold for the Rohingya still in northern Rakhine and Rohingya refugees?
Again, the truth is the truth and lies are lies. Not all races of people collectively help out every group, race of people that is associated with their race. They don't. So the Rohingyas now are trying to flee again to Indonesia. They're being ridiculed. They're being called parasites. They're being forced back onto their boats, ships where they just came from. This is their reality today as I speak to you. Why is this important? Well, we as Black Americans are being targeted to not be Americans no more. And I believe that there are some people that would like to trick us into renouncing our citizenship because they know that we would not give it up freely. I think the bulk of us would resonate with wanting to have two passports or two citizenships if they knew it was legal and they knew that they can go back and forth and they would not have no consequence behind getting another citizenship. But what if us getting citizenships will produce eventually a consequence? And this is the question that I have, that I've been wanting to talk about, and yet no one has bothered, that is a part of this Go Back to Africa scheme. They have not brought up again this clause called renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad. The part that's very troubling that I'm going to make the call about, to talk about, it says that persons who seek to take the oath of renunciation under 34985 or who are requesting that the department issue a certificate of loss of nationality based on potentially expatriating act they may have performed in the past under 1NA 349A14 should be aware that unless they have already possess a foreign nationality, does that mean by birth? Already possess a foreign nationality, they may be rendered stateless and thus lack the protections of any government. They may also have difficulty traveling as they may not be entitled to a passport from any country. Statelessness can present severe hardships. The ability to own or rent property, work, marry, receive medical or other benefits, and attend school can be affected. So being stateless is a big issue that could result if you do not get the proper way to get another citizenship and instead renunciate your U.S. nationality abroad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm about to make the call. And this call, again, I will give in my comment section the number. I hope that when I call, I'll get somebody outright. I don't know if I will, but we shall try right now.
Thank you for calling USA Gov, your guide to federal government information. Para continuar en español, presione 2. For tax or IRS questions, press or say 1. For questions about passports, press or say 2. For immigration, naturalization, or visa questions, press or say 3. For housing questions, press or say 4. For questions about government benefits, financial assistance, or grants, press or say 5. For all other topics, press or say 6 to speak with an information specialist.
6.
To repeat this menu, please hold while your call is transferred to the next available information specialist. This call may be monitored or recorded for quality purposes. If you would be willing to complete a survey after this call, press 1. If not, press 2. May I assist you today?
Hello, hi. I am someone that is curious about something called Renunciation of U.S. Nationality Abroad. Are you aware of this travel state gov, the oath of renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad, the 349A5 clause?
The 489 clause?
349A5. Where it talks about how you can go about renunciating your citizenship.
It's giving you more information how to.
Okay, the thing is, let me explain. There are people that are Black Americans that are going to Sierra Leone and that are calling themselves getting citizenships there. And I don't know if what they're doing there in Sierra Leone is actually making them stateless or rendering them without a U.S. nationality anymore behind what they're doing in Sierra Leone, based on what this renunciation of, let me go back up, renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where are you looking this information up? Is it like a state government? Is it like a government website?
Yes, it's a government. It's a travel state government, U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Consular Affairs. And it has in it the renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad.
Okay, ma'am. I will understand you correctly because you are cutting off.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're cutting off, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what I want to know is if I can speak to someone that can make sure that what we're doing in Sierra Leone is not causing us to lose our U.S. nationality abroad, because people are assuming that they can have a United States American citizenship and they can get other citizenships abroad without renunciation of their U.S. nationality. But this part that I'm reading on travelstate.gov is stating that certain things that you do abroad can be considered you rendering you renunciating your citizenship.
Okay, ma'am, give me 1 second. And you said it was in Serbian, correct?
Excuse me?
And you said it was in Serbian?
No, I said that this is United States American who is going over to Sierra Leone and they're trying to get citizenships over there. And I want to make sure that we're not renunciating our U.S. nationality by going over to a foreign country in Sierra Leone, getting a citizenship there. Is it legal to do without renunciating your citizenship? Can I please speak to someone that can answer that question?
Give me 1 second.
Now, I don't know how long you guys this is going to take with me being online, trying to wait, but it's a long time coming that I hope to get somebody that's actually can speak English to answer these questions, because people are requiring of us to do so much without any provision of protection. And again, if it was not for me finding this renunciation of U.S. nationality, I wouldn't be on here. I've known about it for a couple of years, and people are going abroad over to Sierra Leone, and they're doing things that they may not know is actually renouncing their U.S. nationality. If they knew that, I don't think that they would be trying to line up to do it. But these are the things in which you can do as you can read it that results in you officially renunciating your citizenship, your U.S. nationality. And this is the scary part. Let me try to read this while I wait. May become stateless is something that we should fear. Persons who seek to take the oath of renunciation under 1A 349A5, or who are requesting that the department issue a certificate of loss of nationality based on potentially expatriating act they may have performed in the past under 1NA 349A1 through 4 should be aware that unless they already possess a foreign nationality, does that mean you have to have one that you've been born with? Because we know that foreigners come to America and they're able to get another citizenship as American citizens. They have their original foreign citizenship, say for instance. Oh, okay, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. So in regards to this, so that someone can you speak to and answer your question and the questions that you may have, you will have to be contacting the embassy.
Which embassy?
The embassy in Syrian.
And where?
And you said it was in Syrian, correct?
I asked the question, is it something that we're doing when we go to Sierra Leone, but I'm an American citizen? I want to make sure I'm not doing something against my U.S. nationality.
Okay, now, so you will have to contact that embassy in Syrian so they can be able to assist you.
Do you have their number?
Your question.
Do you have their number?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Hold on, let me get a pen.
Yes, I do.
Hold on, let me get a pen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you said the number goes to who?
To the embassy.
Okay, what's the number?
514-992.
You got to go slower. 514.
9. 92. 4432.
And that's to where? What embassy?
That will be around for the embassy in Syria.
The embassy to where?
That will be the phone number for the embassy in Syria.
I can't understand the last word you're saying.
That will be the phone number, ma'am, for the embassy in Syria.
In Sierra Leone?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
But shouldn't I speak to the American embassy to make sure that what I'm doing is legal to do? Because I don't want to lose my U.S. citizenship.
That's the American embassy, ma'am.
In Sierra Leone?
The embassy in the embassy in America. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, and if there's anything else I can assist you with today?
Okay. Thank you. Oh, God. I don't understand why they have these people that can't really speak English. But we're going to try to call this number now and see if she knows what she's talking about. I don't even think she understood what I was talking about. But let's call this number.
calling is unavailable at the moment. Please try again later. La bonne que vous désirez.
Oh my God. Hold on. She sent me to Quebec. Quebec. What the hell is Quebec? Isn't that Canada? Let me see.
The customer you are calling is unavailable at the moment. Please.
Oh boy. So what I'm going to do is when I get my other phone, y'all, which will be tomorrow or Sunday, is I'm going to pre-record. I don't know if that's the right number that she gave me. I don't know if maybe if I called the number back, if I'll get a different person that can answer the question. Let me try that, because I was not satisfied with getting a Spanish speaking lady, because she was not trying to really hear me. And she gave me a number that says Quebec on my phone. So I don't know if that's the right place where I'm supposed to be calling. Let me see if I can get someone that's from America that's actually going to answer the damn phone.
USA.gov, your guide to federal government information. Para continuar en español, presione 2. For tax or IRS questions, press or say 1. For questions about passports, press or say 2. For immigration, the Department of State issues passports to U.S. citizens. Learn how and where to apply for a passport, to renew a passport, to find out about passport fees, or to solve a problem with your passport. Visit the website travel.state.gov or call the National Passport Information Center at 1-877-4. I'm sorry.
The number?
I'm sorry. Our system did not recognize your selection. For tax or IRS questions, press or say 1. For questions about passports, press or say 2.
2.
For immigration, the Department of State issues passports to U.S. citizens. Learn how and where to apply for a passport, to renew a passport, to find out about passport fees, or to solve a problem with your passport. Visit the website travel.state.gov or call the National Passport Information Center at 1-877-487-2778. To hear this message again, press or say 8.
Okay, I think that's the better number to get. Hold on. She threw me off with having me call Quebec.
Thank you for calling the National Passport Information Center. In a moment, you will be asked to choose from a menu that will enable us to route your call. For information in English, press 1. Para español, presione 2. If you have not applied for a passport and need information, or need to report your current passport is lost or stolen, press 1. If you have questions about your passport application, or your newly issued passport, press 2. Please listen and choose the option that applies to you. If you have already received your newly issued passport and have questions, please press 1. If you have not received your passport, please press 2. To return to the previous menu, press 7. If you have received your new passport and it was damaged in transit to you, press 1. If you have received your passport and it printed wrong or the information on the data page is incorrect, press 2. If you have received your passport but not your supporting documents, press 3. To repeat the previous menu, press 7. This call will be monitored and recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. If you do not want your call monitored or recorded, please hang up. Calling the National Passport Information Center. This is Dominique. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm trying to figure out about citizenship, going abroad and making sure that I'm not renunciating my U.S. nationality abroad according to the travelstate.gov. is there a number that I can call to speak about that particular renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad? Because there are people that are going to Sierra Leone following a tour guide who is instructing them that they can go ahead and get these citizenships over in Sierra Leone, but it looks as if they might be renunciating their U.S. nationality abroad.
I do not know anything about that, unfortunately. That is something that we deal with.
Can you give me a number where I can call for them to answer that question specific? Because I was talking to a lady that wasn't really speaking English very well. That's why I try to go this route to get to you.
You may be able to try the embassy in Sierra Leone.
The what?
The embassy in Sierra Leone.
Okay, if this was something that the United States is going to deem you renunciating your U.S. nationality abroad, wouldn't you need to speak to the United States to make sure you're not doing something you don't need to be doing?
Well, you can try. Actually, I don't even know who you could try. The U.S. Embassy in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Do you have their number?
Yes.
Okay.
It is +232.
+32.
+232.
+232. Oh wow. Okay.
And
Two.
then
Okay.
99
-105
-105
-000. Now I don't even know if I have access to call all the way there. That's Africa. Huh?
You can try emailing them.
Do you have their email?
Yes, it is consular, CONSULAR, Freetown.
Okay, Freetown.
At state.gov.
State.gov. Now, what the renunciation of our situation states, if you go in person and you appear to a consular and you sign off on it, then you have officially renunciated your U.S. Well, according to the travel.gov is what it stated. That's why I wanted to get verification if it goes against what United States says we're allowed to do. Because that's coming from the United States, is not coming from Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly don't know. That isn't something that we deal with.
Is there an American number though that I can call that's not Sierra Leonean that can answer this question for me?
I don't know. I don't even know where you would go to find that information.
Okay, so when people make these laws about renunciation and stuff, isn't that by law that you can't do certain things if that's causing you to renunciate your citizenship? I mean, I would think that there will be a number for the United States of American that American called them to ask. There's no such number?
Not that I'm aware of. We deal with passports. We don't deal with dual citizenship or things of that nature.
Do you know who does deal with dual citizenships on the American end?
No, I do not.
But who would know?
I don't know.
There's no other person that's there that might know?
No.
Wow. Okay, so you said that I can email though. Consular Freetown at state.gov. I don't know how helpful that's going to be, though, if it's something that the United States has made up a law on. I don't know how helpful that's going to be. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's kind of silly, y'all. There is a big ass, again, this comes from travel state.gov, U.S. Department of State Bureau of Consular Affairs. They're the one that has made up this clause called Renunciation of U.S. Nationality Abroad. There is no number on this post for me to call other than the number that I just called. And I don't know if it's going to be useful to get a hold of Sierra Leone, because they're not going to say, or they don't know United States provisions of law. So I don't know what I'm to do. I'm going to probably have to think about this a little bit to see how I can get around it. But anyways, I'm going to figure this out one way or the other. I just wish there was a single number to call to ask the question about this provision, to whether or not we can go and get another citizenship abroad without renunciating your U.S. nationality. Because I don't think that Dinas Demir or anyone has thought about it renunciating their citizenship or their nationality of a United States American. So with that being said, y'all, this was supposed to be a live that's supposed to answer that question. They don't know. And I'm not going to call Sierra Leone because I don't have a way of calling all the way over there. I would have to probably get me a one of those cards that can call long distance. I don't know if I'm going to do all that though. But anyways, I think that we should consider what this travel.gov stated and really know if you really want to take the risk and signing yourself up over there abroad in Sierra Leone, not knowing if you are renunciating your citizenship. So I didn't get the answer just yet, but I'm not done trying to figure it out. But I think that it might be something that they're not knowing that they're doing if they are renunciating their U.S. nationality of the United States of America. So with that being said, thank you all for appearing. If you have not yet, please like and share the video. I wanted to get the answer and I haven't been able to get it just yet, so I'm not going to keep this live on. But I am going to keep trying to see if I can figure it out. I'm not done yet. I'm just getting started. But I'm not going to waste your time with trying to listen. You said Americans can hold dual citizenships. But did you read this, Kiki? What does this mean then? Why would they have this clause? Let me find it again. You can look it up. I want you to look it up to read it too. It looks funny to me though. Hold on. Look it up. Travel.state.gov, renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad. The oath of renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad. This is something that's in the Gov, the Travel State Gov, U.S. Department of State. They say what their new rules are. And they say that you can't do certain things a certain way. So I'm only going off of what this states. Okay, look it up, please. It's called Renunciation of U.S. Nationality Abroad. And the part that got me tripping is, let me find it. It says a person claiming loss of U.S. nationality must renounce all the rights and privileges associated with the nationality. And then it goes on that you can be made, it says persons who seek to take the oath of renunciation under 1 NA 349A5 or who are requesting that the department issue a certificate of loss of nationality based on a potentially expatriating act they may have performed in the past, which whatever that means, under 1 NA 349A1 through 4, should be aware that unless they already possess a foreign nationality, they may be rendered stateless and thus lack a protections of any government. They may also have difficulty traveling as they may not be entitled to a passport from any country. Statelessness can present severe hardships. The ability to own or rent property, work, marry, receive medical or other benefits, and attend school can be affected. I think that we should research into this more. This is what's going to happen to you. I think that means when you give up your U.S. passport. I don't think they said U.S. passport, though. But if you would research it for me or research it also, it just seems like you are going over there to do the renunciation of your U.S. nationality. That I'm going by what this reads. And this is supposed to be a law. It's supposed to be a law. So I don't know. But it looks a little peculiar. Citizenship. But when you go to a foreign country, I think that they're taking oaths. They're obviously putting their hand up to God that they are going to invest in Sierra Leone, that they're going to be good Sierra Leoneans. And I'm sure that they had to make a signature to make it official. They're doing all the things that this says that can result in you renunciating your citizenship. Look, it says, let me see. It says, review and acknowledge review of department provided information on loss of nationality. Attend 2 interviews with a U.S. diplomatic or consular officer abroad, at least one of which must be in person. Complete and required forms and take an oath of renunciation of U.S. nationality in person in a manner prescribed by the Department of State. That's why I am confused. The department may have a legal basis to approve only a properly completed request for a certificate of loss, which includes taking an oath of renunciation in person, versus by mail, electronically, or through agents. Questions about taking the oath of renunciation of U.S. citizenship while in the United States pursuant to INA Section 349A6 must be directed to United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS of the Department of Homeland Security. So I'm going to contact them. Requesting a certificate of loss of nationality of the United States under INA 349A1 through 4. A person requesting a certificate of loss of nationality under 1 or INA 349A1-4 based on past performance of potentially expatriating act must review and acknowledge review a department provided information on loss of nationality, attend to interviews with a U.S. diplomatic or consular officer abroad, or at least one of which must be in person, and complete the required forms and execute them in person before a U.S. diplomatic or consular officer abroad. So relinquish means the same thing as renounce, doesn't it? You said, and to relinquish your U.S. citizenship is $2,300-$500. Yeah, but doing this abroad, I think that you don't have to pay that amount of money. I think that if you do it this way, it just seems odd to me. If you could look this up, because doesn't it seem a little sketchy to you and shady? This is what it says. I'm not saying it. I'm not making it up. This is what it reads. So I'm going to look it up. It's stated to contact let me read that again so I can remember it. The Homeland Security, it said. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. It says to contact the Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to try to get their number and call them. But I'm going to do a follow-up. Send it to me. I don't know how to send it. I don't know how to do links or anything like that. That's why I want you to look at it again. If you go, let me just show you where I got it from. I got it from travel.state.gov, U.S. Department of State Bureau of Consular Affairs, under the clause of renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad, which is the INA 349A5, Oath of Renunciation of U.S. Nationality Abroad. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to send links, but this is what it is. And I've been trying to figure this out for the last couple of years, if this is the way in which we are going to go over there abroad and lose our nationality as Americans by listening to the likes of Dynasty Mir or not. So this to me is kind of important. That's why I'm looking it up, and I will be making the call to Homeland Security a little bit later today. But thank you all for coming through. Hopefully Kiki also, whoever finds the information quicker, I really don't matter. I really don't care who gets it first. But I feel this right here, we should be scared about. I don't think that we should run and drive-by citizenships without understanding what renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad is. Okay, so with that being said, thank you all for appearing. Please like and share the video. Let me see. Oh, you got the, oh, thank you, Limelight, for doing that. Let me see if it shows up. Hold on. So he provided a link for you. There's a link right there. Limelight. Thank you, Limelight. And you can just look it up from there and research it alongside of me. But I just thought that that's a kind of a scary, sneaky thing that they have that I accidentally found this renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad 2 years ago. It just somehow popped up in my, Google searching. When I was looking up something else, it popped up. And this is how I accidentally discovered it. But I have been wondering for the last couple of years, are we renunciating our citizenship without our knowledge of knowing what we're doing? Okay, it says a special note regarding minor children, individuals. Okay, well, I can't say that. Let's see. Expatriating act or request or certificate. It says citizenship is a status that a person to the United States or a personal that is personal to the United States citizen. One person may not perform a potentially expatriating act or request a certificate of loss of nationality on behalf of another person. You have to do it in person yourself. So for kids and stuff, they're saying that you can't do it for them. You have to do it for yourself. But I still need to have an understanding what this means with renunciation of U.S. nationality abroad. And I think that us as Black Americans should figure this out before we keep promoting getting citizenships. That's my opinion. So with that being said, please like and share the video. Thank you for appearing, and bless up.